Welcome to GData's technical podcast. In this episode, we are going to cover the mobile device management features of GData's corporate products. By the end of this episode, you will be familiar with the configuration of application white and blacklisting, call and message filtering, as well as the anti-theft and phone book function of the GData app for Android. The anti-theft function will allow network administrators to take action if devices happen to be lost or stolen. The range of functions includes locating the device, locking it remotely, as well as making the device ring loudly. If needed, a mobile device can also be reset to factory settings to prevent confidential data from being compromised. Should a device be stolen, it can be configured to transfer the GPS location if the SIM card is replaced. Each option can be enabled by ticking a checkbox. Only actions which are enabled can be triggered on a device. For instance, if the permission for locating a device is not enabled, the corresponding command cannot be processed by the device. In order to enable this function, the check mark must be set and the device must pull the settings from the management server. In order for commands to reach a device, it must be connected to a mobile network. If a device is inside a building with poor mobile coverage, settings and commands might reach the device with a delay based on when the signal strength is sufficient for message reception. All actions can be triggered with a text message containing the remote maintenance password, which is a numerical code of at least 4 non-consecutive digits, followed by the command. This requires a trusted telephone number to be configured in the GData administrator. Any commands which are sent to the device are only accepted when sent from this telephone number. A complete reference guide for the command syntax and text messages is available from our support team or in our partner web. Commands will be executed in the background. If any functions provide information from the device, this will be sent from the device via email. Alternatively, Google Cloud Messaging can be used to transfer a command to a device. This eliminates the need to set up and keep track of a dedicated phone for sending those commands. In order to use Google Cloud Messaging, an API key is required. It can be obtained from the Google Developer Console. Refer to Google's documentation for up-to-date information, as the layout of the Developer Console is subject to change. Copy and paste it into the mobile configuration dialog in the GData administrator. It is located at Options, Server Settings, Mobile. Copy and paste the API key and sender ID and click OK. In case a device was lost or stolen, a good first step would be to determine the location of the device. Send the corresponding command to the device either using a text message or Google Cloud Messaging. Now the device will determine its GPS location. This will take a few minutes and requires GPS coverage. The accuracy depends on how good a fix the device can get on the GPS satellites. On open ground, GPS accuracy is usually good and within a few meters, but accuracy will deteriorate inside or in between building structures, especially between high-rise buildings. If GPS does not provide enough location data, cell information will be factored in to add more accuracy. The coordinates will be sent to the email address specified in the GData administrator. The email which is sent back to the provided email address will contain a link to Google Maps as well as the GPS coordinates. The approximate location is highlighted in Google Maps. Those coordinates can then be used to make an attempt to recover the device or to hand them to authorities. On the device, all this activity will take place in the background without any possibility of interfering. The other options are self-explaining. A word about the Trigger Alarm Sound option. This function will work even if the device itself is set to mute. If the situation demands for a device to be wiped, bear in mind that this will delete all data on the device. The GData app will start a factory reset which does not exclude any user data. After starting the function, any data that was on the device cannot be recovered without incurring massive costs, with a very limited prospect of success. Next in line is App Control. This feature allows you to control which apps can be run on a device. It can be operated either in white or in blacklist mode. That way, you can define a list of sanctioned apps for the use on company-issued devices or block specific apps from being used on any devices, such as games or other unwanted applications. Each device which reports back to the management server will also transfer a list of all installed apps on the device. After selecting the mode in which you want to operate the app control, provide a password and a recovery email address. The password is required if any apps are to be run which would normally be ruled out by the blacklist. The recovery email address is required to retrieve the password if it is lost. Then go to the list of installed apps and add them either to a white or a blacklist. Select the apps and click the green downward pointing arrow symbol to add them to your list. Multiple apps can be selected by holding the Control key while selecting. To remove an app from the list, select its entry in the bottom area of the window and click on the red upwards pointing arrow. GData's phonebook can theoretically be used to centrally manage the contacts on each mobile device which has GData installed. Contacts can be imported from Active Directory too. All you need to do for this is click on Show Contact Database and then Import Contacts. Communications with individual contacts, as well as the contacts themselves, can be hidden if required. Call filtering can be used to block calls or text messages from specific phone numbers, as well as limit which numbers can be dialed from a device. Setting up a call filter is very easy. Both inbound and outbound calls can be regulated based on the device's contact list. Additionally, inbound calls can be blocked if they do not transmit a caller ID. Contacts which are not in the device's contact list can be added via the GData administrator. For this, click Show Contact Database and then select the green plus symbol to add a new contact. Fill in the contact information and click OK. If you have any questions about any of the topics covered in this episode, feel free to contact us at int-presales@gdatasoftware.co.uk. Again, that email address is int-presales@gdatasoftware.co.uk. We hope you were able to take something away from this podcast and look forward to providing you with more valuable information in our next episode. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
GData. Trust in German Sicherheit.